So what we're doing today is a review for Friday's quiz. There is no new homework tonight. We're just reviewing, doing some practice problems. These questions look exactly like the ones that you will have on Friday's quiz. So you will need a pencil, paper, and calculator. I'm going to put a problem up on the screen. I want you to try it, and then I will go over it. So the first type of questions that you're going to have on your quiz look like this, where you have an operation in the top part of the fraction. When you have an operation in the top part of the fraction, you need to get rid of that divided by first. So if we take a look at this first one, there's really an invisible set of parentheses around the x plus 4. So you need to get rid of this divided by 3 first by doing times 3 and times 3. Those 3's cancel out. So you have x plus 4 equals negative 12. Now it's just a one-step equation, so minus 4, and you end up with an answer of x equals negative 16. Go ahead and try that next one on your own, please. So in this question, you want to get rid of the divided by 5 first by doing times 5 and times 5, because there is really an invisible set of parentheses around that 2x minus 4. So those cancel out. Bring down your 2x minus 4, bring down your equal sign. 14 times 5 is 70. Now it's just a two-step equation, plus 4 to try and get that 2x all by itself. 70 plus 4 is 74. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 74 divided by 2 gives you 37. So you will definitely have one like that on your quiz on Friday. For long multi-step equations, this is what I'm talking about with the 4 and 5-step equations. Remember that you have to follow this order. You have to do the distributive property first. Remember, the distributive property has parentheses. So you need to get rid of those parentheses first. Then combining like terms. Now remember, combining like terms are when letters are on the same side of the equal sign, where we can add those together. Or you might have plain numbers on the same side of the equal sign. If we had like this, where we had the 3 and the 5, we could add together the 3 and the 5 to be an 8. The last thing that you need to do is variables on both sides. So this is where you have a letter on one side and a letter on another side. You want to get all the letters onto one side first by adding or subtracting them. I would always work with the smaller of the two letters. You get rid of a positive by doing minus. You get rid of a negative by doing plus. I would always work with the smaller of the two letters first, because that way you'll work with less negatives. After you do variables on both sides, then it becomes a two-step equation, then a one-step equation, and then you get your answer. Go ahead and try this one, please. First thing you want to look for is distributive property, then combining like terms, then variables on both sides. So the first thing that we want to do is the distributive property. I have parentheses right here that I need to get rid of. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 14 is negative 42. However, when I write it, I write minus 42. Bring down the +1, bring down your equal sign, bring down everything that you didn't use yet. So I did the distributive property. Now I'm looking at combining like terms. I have plain numbers on the same side of the equal sign. So I want to add together -41 and, -42 and 1 to be a -41 or -41. Bring down everything else that you didn't use yet. So I did combining like terms. Next thing that I want is variables on both sides. I have a letter on one side, a letter on the other side. I always like working with the smaller of the two letters. So I'm going to work with that -4x by doing +4x and +4x. So we have 7x minus 41 equals 8. Now it's just a two-step equation. So I'm going to do +41 plus 41. 7x equals 49. Divide by 7. Now it's just a one-step equation. So you get a final answer of x equals 7. Go ahead and try this next one, please. Again, you have to go through that same order. Distributive property, combining like terms, variables on both sides, two-step, one-step. So the first thing that we want to do in this question is the distributive property. 0.5 times 8x is 4x. 0.5 times 26 is 13. Bring down everything else that we didn't use yet. Next thing on our list is combining like terms. Do I have letters on the same side of the equal sign? No, I do not. Do I have just plain numbers on the same side of the equal sign? No, I do not. So I can't combine like terms in this question. Do I have variables on both sides? Yes, I do. I'm going to work with the smaller of the two letters first. So I'm going to do -2x and -2x. So I have 2x plus 13 equals 11. Now it's just a two-step equation. So -13 to get the 2x all by itself. 11 minus 13 is -2. Divide by 2. Now it's just a one-step equation. You should get an answer of -1. Go ahead and try this next one, please. Again, you have to follow that order. Distributive property, combining like terms, variables on both sides, two-step, then one-step. So the first thing that we want to do is the distributive property. We want to take this 8 and multiply it by y. 8 times y is 8y. 8 times -2 or -2 is -16. Bring down everything else that we didn't use yet. So we did the distributive property. Do we have combining like terms? Do we have letters on the same side of the equal sign? No. Do we have plain numbers on the same side of the equal sign? No. So we don't have that. Do we have variables on both sides? Yes, we do. I like working with the smaller of the two letters first. So -3y and -3y. So 5y minus 16. Be very, very careful here. Notice that that's a -1 there. So when we bring it down, it's going to become a -1. Be very, very careful there. Plus 16 plus 16. So I have 5y equals 15 when I add those together. Divide by 5, divide by 5. You should end up with y equals 3. Be very, very careful with bringing down that -1. Go ahead and try this one, please. So the first thing that we're going to look for is distributive property. In this particular question, there are no parentheses. We do not have the distributive property. So the next thing is combining like terms. I have letters on the same side of the equal sign. 3x plus 7x is 10x. I also have plain numbers. I also have plain numbers on the same side of the equal sign. -1 plus 11 is 10. So now I'm just going to bring down everything else that I didn't use yet. So bring down your -2, bring down your equal sign, bring down your plus 12x. So I did the distributive property. Now I have variables on both sides. I have a 10x on one side, I have a 12x on the other. So -10x and -10x. So we have -2 equals 10 plus 2x. Now it's just a two-step equation. So -10 to get the 2x all by itself. So I have -12 equals 2x. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X equals -6. So those are all questions from 2-7. Those are your 4 and 5-step equations. The next thing on your quiz is when it talks about one solution, no solution, or infinite solutions. When it's one solution, remember, you get x equals a number like x equals 1 or x equals 4 or x equals -4. You'll have one answer. Those are your typical equations that you solve. When it's no solution, all of the numbers will cancel out, or sorry, all of the letters will cancel out, and you'll end up with different numbers on the two sides of the equal sign. -1 is not equal to -10, or you might have 4 equals 5. That doesn't make any sense. Those numbers are not equal to each other. That is no solution. Infinite solution is when you get the same thing on both sides. So you might get like 4 equals 4, or you might get 2x equals 2x, or you might get 4x plus 1 equals 4x plus 1. As soon as you get the same thing on both sides of the equal sign, it is infinite solutions. Go ahead and try this one, please. So again, you still have to follow those rules with distributive property first. So distribute, 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 distribute. So I have 2x minus 4 equals 4x minus 4. So now I have letters on both sides of the equal sign, minus 2x minus 2x. So I have -4 equals 2x minus 4 plus 4 plus 4. So I have 0 equals 2x. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 0 divided by 2 is 0. So I end up with x equals 0. That is an answer, all right? X equals a number, so that is one solution because x equals a number. Don't get fooled by the answer being 0 and think that it's no solution. Remember, no solution is when the letters all totally cancel out. The letters all disappear. If you get x equals a number, any number, that is one solution. Go ahead and try this next one, please. So again, we do have to follow that same order, distributive property first. So I see parentheses here, so I want to do that first. 2.5 times 3 is 7.5. 2.5 times negative 2x is negative 5x or minus 5x. Bring down everything else that we didn't use yet. So negative 7x plus 2x plus 1 equals that. Next thing on our list is combining like terms. I can add together our negative 7x and our 2x because they're on the same side of the equal sign. So that's negative 5x plus 1 equals 7.5 minus 5x. Now I have letters on both sides of the equal sign. I'm going to get rid of this negative 5x by doing plus 5x and plus 5x. Goodbye, goodbye. All that we have left is 1 equals 7.5. Well, does 1 equal 7.5? No, it does not. So therefore, it is no solution. All of our letters canceled out, all of our letters disappeared, and we are left with two different numbers on the two sides of the equal sign. So that is no solution. This is an unsolvable equation. Go ahead and try this one, please. So again, you want to do the distributive property first. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 2.5 is negative 5. So I'm going to write minus 5. On this side, I could add together my like terms, because that's next, combining my like terms, to be negative 2x minus 5. You could have actually stopped right there. If you went farther, that's fine, but you could have stopped right there because notice what we have. We have the same exact thing on both sides of the equal sign. We have negative 2x minus 5 here and negative 2x minus 5 here. As soon as you get the same thing on both sides of the equal sign, it has to be infinite solutions. If you took it one step farther, that's fine. The next step would have been doing plus 2x and plus 2x. Goodbye, goodbye. All that you're left with now is -5 equals -5. So all the letters canceled out and you're left with the same number on both sides. So that is also infinite solutions. So that was 2.7 and 2.8. Tomorrow we're going to focus more on reviewing for the word problems because I think those are a little bit harder to set up. So we'll spend some more time with the word problems. There is no new homework tonight. All right. But again, the end of the marking period is next week, Friday. So make sure that you are checking School Tool and doing any makeup work that you have. Otherwise, you are free to go if you don't have any questions.